In this class, let us see some case study based questions. Our topic today is linear equation in two variables. In such questions, you will see that there is a lot of information given. Right now in this question, you will see that there is mention about government policies, transportation charges, inflation. Now you have to sift through all of that information and take only what is relevant for our question, which is just this. Now this sentence here will tell you how the auto charges are calculated. It consists of two parts. One is a fixed charge, another is a running charge. Now you would have seen the difference in the unit, right? One is just rupees, another is the rupees per kilometer. Now what is the difference? What is the fixed charge? Fixed charge is the amount that you have to pay once you get into the auto. It does not matter even if you change your mind after 5 minutes. Maybe you think the driver is driving rashly, not following the traffic rules. It does not matter. If you have got into an auto, the driver has turned in the key, then this amount you have to pay regardless of how much you have traveled. Now, after 1 kilometer, for every 1 kilometer, this is what you have to keep on paying. So now what does that mean? So what does this Y rupees per kilometer mean? That means for 1 kilometer, Y. So 2 kilometers, 2 times Y. 3 kilometers, 3 times Y. This is the running charge which you will pay in addition to what is fixed. Now, suppose you have got into the taxi, regardless of how much you have traveled, you will pay X rupees for 200 meters, 400, 600 meters. This is what you will pay if it is less than 1 kilometer. Then, after you cover 1 kilometer, this much. After you cover 2 kilometers, this much. After you cover 3 kilometers, this much, and it goes on like this. This is what is the difference between the fixed charge and the running charge. So now let us go on to the questions. Now this is our first question. We are given the transportation charges for auto in two cities, city A and city B. The first question is about city A. You don't know what the fixed charge is, you don't know what the running charge is, but you have to find the linear equation which represents the travel. How will you do that? Suppose X is the fixed charge and Y is the running charge. So as soon as the person gets into the auto, he will have to pay X. Then how much has he traveled? He has traveled 10 kilometers. So that means 10 into the running charge. And totally how much did he pay? He paid 75. That is for one person. One person who traveled 10 kilometers. Now there is another person still in city A. How much has he traveled? He has traveled 15 kilometers. The story is same. As soon as he gets into the taxi, he will have to, this is the fixed charge which for sure he will pay. Then how much has he traveled? 15 kilometers. And how much did he totally pay? Totally he paid 110. So this is the set of linear equations which will represent the travel. Where do you see this? Here. The second one is the correct answer. So this will represent the travel. Now it is not asked, but still, can you find out what is the fixed charge and what is the running charge? So what do you see here? Two linear equations. Both of them have the coefficient 1. So which is good news. All you have to do is subtract these two equations and get rid of, eliminate this X. Then what will you get? So solving these equations, you will get Y is what? 7 rupees per kilometer. For every kilometer travel, he will have to pay 7 extra. But then what is the initial charge? What is the fixed charge? Put the 7 here. You will get X is equal to what? 75 minus 70, which is what? 5 rupees. So 5 rupees is the initial charge that he has to pay. Now the same thing, let us find out in city B. So now what is the situation in city B? Again we have two different people traveling. One person who has traveled only 8 kilometers. As soon as the person gets into the taxi, there is a fixed charge. Then for every 1 kilometer y plus y plus y, 8 kilometers, this is how much he pays total. There is another person who has traveled more. He has traveled 14 kilometers. So his the charge that he will be paying is this much. So what is the correct answer? This is the correct answer for city B. Again, we saw in the first city that the starting charge, the fixed charge was 7 rupees, and then for every kilometer they had to pay 7 extra. What about this? What is the fixed charge and what is the running charge? Let us find out. So how do you solve the equation? The good news is the coefficient of x in both of these equations is 1. So all you have to do is subtract both the equations, get rid of x, get an equation just in y. You will get y is equal to 9 and substitute it here. Then you will get x is equal to 91 minus 72, which is 19 rupees. So that is your initial charge, your fixed charge, and this is what the person has to pay in city B. This is what the person has to pay after every 1 kilometer. Now we move on to the third part of the question. What is it about? A person is traveling 100 kilometers in city A, then how much will he have to pay? First is x, which is the fixed charge, which is 5, what we found out. Then for every 1 kilometer, 7 extra, which means 700 plus 5, which is 705. Now next is to find out how much is a person traveling 60 kilometers in city B pays. How much? The starting charge, the fixed charge is always x, which we found out was 19 for city B. Then the running charge was how much? 9 per kilometer. So for 60 kilometers, this is how much the person will pay. Now our last and final question. There is a person traveling intercity. First part, he is traveling in A, then he is going into B. Then what do you have? Completely different set of fixed charges and the running charges. The first one in city A, fixed charge 5, for every 1 kilometer 7 extra, so that is 5 plus 7 into 50. This is what you get. Now the auto is going from city A into city B, so you have different fixed charge, which is 19, and different running charge, which is 9. Calculate it and you will get the answer. Now we move on to the next question. Now what is the case we are dealing with? There is a test going on, and how is the evaluation done? For every correct answer, the student will get 1 mark. But if the answer is wrong, then 1 by 4 will be deducted from the total, or in other words, there is negative marking involved. Now, how does this work out? Suppose the student wrote 2 answers. If both are correct, he will get 2 marks. If both are wrong, then from his total, minus half will be deducted. Minus 1 by 4 for each answer, and you add it and you will get minus 1 by 2 will be reduced from his total. But then what if one is correct and the other one is wrong? Then add them up. He will be getting 3 by 4. That is all he will get. So, or in other words, you have negative marking, which is bad news. Now, what is happening with this particular student? He answered 120 questions. If all of them were right, he should have got 120, but he did not. He got only 95 marks. Why was that? Some of the questions he knew, he answered correctly. Some he did not know and he guessed. And every one of the answers he guessed was wrong. So what are the two variables here? One is the answers he knew for sure, that is your x. The other one is the answers he did not know and he simply guessed. Let that be y. So totally how many questions did he attempt? 120. The ones he knew and the ones he did not know together was 120. So this equation accounts for the total number of questions. Next, for the marks. How many marks did he get? For each answer that he knew, he got 1 mark. And then for the each one he did not know and he wrongly guessed, he lost 1/4 mark. Totally how many marks did he get? He got 95. Now all you have to do is solve this equation. Now we have learned so many ways of solving a pair of linear equations, the elimination method, the substitution method, the graphical method. I always find the elimination method the easiest because all you have to do is make the coefficient same and just subtract or add whatever the situation is. So here you see there is an x and there is an x. If you subtract it, we can neatly get rid of this x and we will get an equation just with y. That is what we want. Subtract, these two get cancelled and you have 1 plus 1/4 which is 5/4y and this you will get 25. So what is your answer? With cross multiply you get 5y is equal to 100 which means y is equal to 20. That means he guessed 20 questions, all of them which was wrong. So if he guessed 20 questions, how many did he get correct? Correct answers were 100 and this was 20. The best thing about linear equations is that you can always check if your answer is correct. What was our original equation? In the original equation, put these two and see if you get the correct answer. And this is a very good situation, right? Usually when you write answers, you have no idea whether your calculations is right, your equations are right, but here you can always check that out. So add this, you get 100. The other one, you put 100 here. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So there you see your answer is correct. So your correct answer is what? The number of questions he answered correctly is 100. Now this is the second part of the question. How is it different from the first? In the first question, we knew that the marks he got was 95. Then we came up with two linear equations, solved it and finally found out that the number of correct answers was actually 100. He should have got 100, but what happened? 100 was correct. 20 was wrong. For each 20 he lost 1/4, or in other words he lost 5 marks and got just 95 marks. Now what is happening in this question? It is the other way round. Now you know the number of correct answers and you have to find out how much marks he got. So this is easy. No need for any equation, any x or y or whatever. Why is that? The number of questions attempted is 120. Correct ones is 80. So for each 80 questions, he got 1 mark each. Then how many was wrong? Out of 120, if you take away 80, 40 of his answers were wrong. And for each of the wrong answers, he lost 1/4 mark. So totally how much did he get? He got only 70 marks.